Welcome to Jessica Drake's Guide to Wicked Sex Plus Size. I'm your host, Jessica Drake, and for this particular volume, I'm joined by a very special additional host, Kelly Shibari. In this movie, we'll be discussing sex and relationship communication, specifically for men and women of size.
Whether you're a plus-size couple or a couple where only one partner is of size, we're here to guide you through some helpful tips on how to navigate communication both in and out of the bedroom. We're sure you're already familiar with what works for you if you're in a plus-size relationship, but through this movie, you should find some new and interesting ways to communicate and some really fun positions that you can try that work specifically for people of size. As with every guide that Jessica presents, communication plays a huge role in successful relationships, sexual or otherwise. And most of you who know me know that I'm a big proponent of confidence being the sexiest part of you, regardless of size. With these things in mind, we'll discuss how to express your sexuality, what works for you, how to ask your partner what works for them, and how to navigate some of the potential communication pitfalls and insecurities that may come with being plus-sized.
In this movie, Kelly will be interviewing couples where one or both are persons of size. We'll talk to two couples where the woman is plus size, but the man is not. In addition, we'll also be chatting with 3 plus-size couples where both are partners of size.
Following the interviews, we'll demo some communication and body confidence exercises, as well as sex positions that work well for people of size. At the end, you'll find 3 full, hardcore sex scenes, which you can watch with or without my accompanying narration. Let's get started. Let's face it, people have all sorts of preferences, whether it be race, height, hair color, political affiliation, the list goes on. For many, the attraction of a plus-size partner is what turns them on sexually, emotionally, and mentally. Some guys like their ladies thicker and softer, and some women like their guys to be big teddy bears. Let's meet some of these couples and see what attracts them to each other.
I don't know that I've ever had a preference. I've always dated guys of all sizes, so Mike's actually one of the first plus-size guys I've ever been with.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I like how you didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not like I would actively seek out, but I do like more curvy women, and more to hold on to.
I was going to say, curves I got. So.
Curves, definitely,
Yeah, curves
definitely curves. It's definitely an appeal.
Yeah.
Feels more womanly.
I do like it because there's something to hold on to. Mm-hmm. So I think I might have a preference for bigger guys from here on out, considering you're the only one from here on out.
Yeah, so.
It has to do with their personality and how they carry themselves. Of course, I always love extra curves, extra padding, but it stemmed mainly from personalities.
What I'm looking for in a guy is to feel protected. So whether that means that the guy's taller or bigger, I think that's where my preference is.
I like women of all shapes and sizes, colors, creeds, you name it. When it comes to the bigger women, they are just a lot of fun. You don't have to worry about breaking them in half.
That's important.
That's very important. I mean, I'm not like the big gigantic guy or anything, but if it gets a little wild and crazy, you don't have to slow it down as much.
It's never really been about a size. It's been more about a confidence or an air about them that turned me on, or that made me more interested in being with them.
It really depends on the individual person and their personality, and maybe something else that I like about them other than, like their size. Maybe I like their eyes, or, maybe they're really, really, really nice, and, that's what makes me attracted to them. It really depends on who it is that, I'm looking at and deciding what I actually like about them.
I really like a bigger partner because it doesn't make me feel like I'm overpowering them all the time. Because sometimes when I'm with a smaller guy, it makes me feel a little self-conscious about my size, actually.
Society's been changing over the past few years, and size and sexuality are becoming more accepted, especially as more people become more open about their preferences towards partners of size. That doesn't mean that all issues are resolved, though. Self-confidence is still an issue for many, and it gets in the way of connecting with that special someone, whether you're in a relationship or are currently single. Your feelings as a person of size and how it relates to sex may have also changed over the years, and as you get older, especially in relation to how your association with size developed when you were younger.
People are big for different reasons. Sometimes it's genetics, sometimes it's medical issues, for whatever the reason. So I can't stand to be around anybody who's going to judge me and think they know the reason that I'm a big person.
I've definitely encountered negative experiences due to my size. I'd say it started when I was a kid, on the playground, in school, anything that's different from the quote-unquote normal was made fun of for having thicker thighs and, thunder thighs and name-calling and things like that. Definitely had experiences with my butt where kids would say, I'm going to punch your butt, and it's going to go into the black hole of, nothingness, basically, because it's so wide. And as I've grown older and really started to appreciate my body, those things don't bother me as much. And I don't see those things come about as much because I'm not as insecure about comments that are made or the way that people perceive things. So it's definitely changed as I've gotten older.
I've encountered quite a few because of my size. I know I'm not like the largest, but I'm not necessarily the thinnest either. But I've learned to deal with the people that don't feel that my body image is sexy or what the world says it should be. So I just react with it being positive and reinforcing myself and my confidence and just being like, they're people, everyone has their own opinion, and not everyone likes the same thing.
But I've witnessed it, her and I being together for 14 years. I've witnessed it quite a few times of the people that say rude and negative things to her, and it's hard not to, just come unglued and let loose on people. But you have to realize that there's different personalities out there. There's different ways that people were brought up, and there's different ways that people carry themselves. And you just try to do things like this to educate people as best as you can.
I had a very interesting negative sense of size when I was a kid because I wasn't born here. I was born in Japan. So I was like a size 9'10", like a U.S. size 9'10", but in Japan that was considered fat. I also developed really early. I had like C-cup boobs by the time I was 12. So they just... All I hear is, ooh, yes, big ass titties. So I think that guys who are that age, they don't know what to do with girls who suddenly develop and have really big boobs, because then the rest of their body is also kind of chubby. And it actually took me getting into the adult industry and being more confident with being naked in front of the camera that actually helped me overcome my negative self-image. And I've actually done interviews about that kind of stuff. And I always say, well, I'm not trying to encourage everybody to get into plus-size porn so they can feel better about themselves. It's just what worked for me. But I think that as the response to your size and the response to you as a person changes from being bullied to being told, oh, you're really pretty, and, like in the case of porn, oh, I jerk off to you, that kind of stuff, made me feel better about myself, but also my background with being bullied kept that still in check, so my head didn't get all that big.
Did you ever use defensive mechanisms? I used to do. I do that a lot. I'll make jokes about my size and get other people comfortable.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that, because that's part of the deflating.
Yeah.
Part of the way to deflate it. I always make a joke about, oh, you're thinking of, when someone mixes me up for someone else, I'm like, oh, you're thinking of the other fat guy. But yeah, the self-effacing humor.
Yeah, I think it puts people at ease, and it makes it, because then they realize I'm okay with my size. So
yeah. As long as you don't do it too much, where it gets to a point where it's like, You're just doing it for attention, you know. You're just doing it to diffuse.
I perform a lot vocally, and doing dance shows as a hobby just because it's something I enjoy doing. And, you know, there's definitely been instances where people are like, you know, you're a big girl, you shouldn't be up there dancing, or, you know, you're too big to be on stage, or why would people come see you? And, you know, back then, I didn't really answer. I just sort of got really butthurt about it and walked away. But these days, I just realized that those people are looking for a way to make themselves feel better. So my answer is usually because I'm really talented.
Social media has actually been really helpful because you just realize that everybody gets picked on and everybody snarks on everybody. And once you realize that you're not being singled out, you just kind of go, oh, then I'll just block him.
I dealt with a lot of stuff when I was younger too. I mean, because I was always really, really tall. I mean, by the time I was 12, I was already 6 foot, and I was skinny as a rail.
Overshadowing your teachers.
Yeah, so I was the one always got like daddy long legs and lurch and all the big, tall, skinny jokes.
Tall green giant?
Exactly, yes. So it was always, you know, how's the weather up there? And I'd spit on him and say, it's sunny. I guess it's raining by you. So.
Communication is so important, both for you as someone who is becoming more open about their sexuality, as well as with a partner. And it's always important to work on your own self-confidence before reaching out to a partner. Communication exercises, both just on your own as well as with a partner, are great ways to build that confidence and bond.
I think the key for a positive body image is, it's going to sound cliche like confidence, but you got to be comfortable in your own skin. I think that's where it needs to come from. You can be any size as long as you feel comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and there is physical, but there's so much more of attitude and just the way you come across, a person comes across. It can supersede any of the physical stuff.
I think having a partner, though, that makes you feel confident.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
That makes a big difference, too. Because if you're with somebody and they're making you feel bad because you're a bigger person, then don't be with that person. You know, be with somebody who wants to be with you and appreciates you, whether you're big or small, or that shouldn't matter. For me, I think the key to having more confidence and being more comfortable has honestly been age. As I've gotten older, I've learned to let a lot of things go. So that's one of the beauties of aging.
I think the key to having a positive body image is being able to look in the mirror every day and say, this is who I am, this is what I look like, and I love myself.
Sometimes expressing to your partner the words you would like them to use when describing you is full of anxiety and second-guessing what the other person will think. To help, there are a couple of very simple exercises to communicate what works well for you in terms of descriptive words, as well as help you grow as a couple. These exercises really work for any couple of any size, but it works particularly well for people of size who may not be as confident as they'd like to be in terms of body confidence. A simple exercise that borrows itself from the concept of daily affirmations is to sit with your partner and share 3 to 5 things they like about each other. It can be about size or other non-size specific things.
Well, I think one of the things I really love about you is your openness and how you come across as very comfortable with yourself. And I think that's sexy.
I love your hands, honestly, I do. I love, they're bigger than mine, which is good. And I love holding them, because when you hold my hand, I know that you care, and I know that you're thinking about me and that you want to be near me. So I like that we hold hands all the time. So.
It just happens.
It does. We don't even realize we're doing it.
One of the things I also love about you is that you make, with your attention to me and the way you treat me like a piece of meat. No, but seriously, I mean, you do make me feel sexy. You do make me feel sexy and desirable, which is really cool.
I like that. I think you are sexy.
I haven't usually thought of myself in those terms, so you help me along with that.
I think you are. And that's one of the things that I love about you is that you make me feel sexy.
You pinch your butt?
Yeah, you can pinch my butt, or, you know, when you just look at me. Yeah.
Okay.
But when you look at me and when you pay attention to me and actually, you're not just waiting to talk, you're actually listening to what I say, which makes a nice difference from a lot of people.
And on a naughty note, I really love the way you suck my cock.
You like my boobs, too.
Oh, yes, I love your
like
boobs.
I know. I like that. I like, well, speaking of your cock, I like that. I don't know. It's like perfectly shaped and it fits really well. And I don't know. And it's just, it gives me this complete feeling whenever we're fucking or having sex or making love or whatever it is we're doing. It just makes me feel really kind of complete and whole. And I love that.
That's cool.
Another exercise, which can take relationship communication to the next level, can be aided with the use of props such as flashcards. By looking through a series of descriptives and selecting which words you're comfortable with, you can share with your partner the words that you prefer he or she use in relation to how they describe you.
Stocky? Mm-hmm. This one surprises me. Like, why do you like stocky?
It kind of feels a little more dignified. When I talk about, like, when I was a kid, I usually use stocky because it's like you were kind of born that way.
Yeah.
You know, and stocky, the parts were bigger. The parts were, firmer or whatnot. And the pieces that made me up were stronger.
That's a good
one. Okay.
Let me see. I like this one too. Cuddly.
Cuddly.
I think I'm cuddly.
Yes, absolutely.
Kind of mushy, and it's good to snuggle up on.
It's cute. It's a wrap your arms around kind of thing.
I know. You rest your head there. It's all
yeah.
Like a big cushy pillow or something.
Cushy pillow.
Oh.
BHM.
You do like that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why is it that you prefer that?
Well, it's got handsome right in the middle of it.
Sandwiched right in there.
Yeah, but it feels very accepting. Very accepting. Big, handsome man. Like BBW. It doesn't feel like it's derogatory or anything like that. It feels like a descriptive, but...
It's almost neutral.
It feels a little neutral, but pleasant.
Yeah.
Pleasant and
palatable.
positive.
Palatable.
Palatable.
Yes.
I would go for pleasant.
Pleasant.
Maybe beyond palatable.
Let's see. I like this one too. Curvy.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one. Because I think it's descriptive. I mean,
It also feels sexy. Curvy feels like a sexy word.
It does. It does feel like a very sexy word because that's the thing is that it's like, I don't feel like I'm a straight line or that there's
There's lots of curves in it. The U,
and that
the
there's
V, the Y.
some dimension to it.
Yeah.
So that's why I like that one.
No, not juicy. Husky.
You do like husky?
Yeah.
That was one from...
That was one also from the childhood, but I've embraced it. I've
kind of
accepted
made it your own?
Yeah, I kind of made it my own.
That's a good one then.
Yeah, and once again, there's maybe a certain amount of dignity, not as much as the other one.
Yeah.
But still, it doesn't say fat.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then I think this is one of the ones I like too. Cute.
Cute.
Because I think that one applies regardless of size or age. Mm-hmm. I kind of like cute, and I feel cute.
Yeah.
I think I'm a cute person.
Yes, you're very cute.
Thank you.
An important thing to note about this exercise is how you can express to your partner why certain words work well for you. If you're comfortable, you may also discuss why some words don't work for you or are trigger words, though I suggest the discussion of trigger words be left to when you and your partner have established a strong level of trust and not at the very first sitting.
The word that I dislike the most is the word obese. I've never been a fan of the word. I don't really have a reason as to why. Maybe because it sounds so clinical. But yeah, I think it depends on the context in which it's used. So for the most part, there's not a word that can really offend me.
Yeah, I think she makes a good point that there's a lot of people out there that, like I said before, that will take one word and some people like it and some people don't. But I think a lot of people will use those words in different contexts. A lot of people use it in a negative way. Some people are using it in a positive, playful way. And I obviously, however it comes across, you're going to be able to tell with the inflection and how people are conveying it to you. So
I like words like luxurious and Well, no, seriously, stop laughing.
I just had a vision of a car. That's all. Like
Of a what?
Of a car with big leather benches
Yeah.
and relaxed.
Well,
and
no, luxurious is good
That's
because
a
it
good
means
thing.
I'm
It just-
comfortable and you want to lay on me.
I
So
would
that's a good
never-
thing.
It occurred to me to call you luxurious, but I'm going
Luxurious, curvy, voluptuous. The first size positive word that was ever used to describe me was actually Zoftig, by a guy that worked in the theater department who was Jewish, and that was like his term. And I actually had to go on. There was no Google back then because I'm old, so I had to go to the library and look up what Zoftig meant. And I was like, oh wow, that's actually a very pleasant word to describe somebody of size.
Well, I mean, it depends on how it's being said, because sometimes one word said in a very nasty way could be hurtful, but in another way it could also be positive. It's just a matter of how someone is directing it towards you.
Curvy, soft, even voluptuous I like. I think it's a big compliment. Things that I don't like, of course, fat, chubby. I don't really like plump either.
I guess I like words like thick or voluptuous or plush. I love the word plush. It sounds luxuriously round.
Being able to express to your partner what turns you on, what doesn't work so much, and to ask what works for them is a wonderful journey into increasing your confidence as a sexual person. If vocalizing those things are issues for you, it might be getting in the way of amazing, mind-blowing, fun, and exciting sex. Exercises to develop that sort of communication can break down those insecurities as well. And don't worry, if you're nervous about discussing things with your partner, laughter is a great icebreaker.